on issues of elections in FDC. And I'll read it the way it is. Then I'll invite my other colleagues here to make comments. We, the undersigned leaders of Forum for Democratic Change, would like to disassociate ourselves with the ongoing sham and fraudulent internal party leadership selection. These words, you need to capture them the way they are said. Internal leadership selection exercise supervised directly by Mr. Nanda Mafavi and Mr. Patrick Amuriat. We also urge all FDC leaders and members not to participate in these sham leadership selections and not to allow them to take place in their areas. These illegal and manipulated selections are in total violation of the June 16th, 239th National Executive Committee decision. The National Executive Committee ordered for the stay of these internal elections until matters troubling the party are resolved. The National Executive Committee resolved to go for a retreat to discuss the sticking issues, including the dirty money which Mr. Nanda and Amuriat brought into the party in the middle of last general elections in 2020. Elections would then be organized after this retreat and after other internal conflict resolution processes. The national chairman, Ambassador Waswabirigwa, who in our constitution is responsible for harmony, reinforced the NEC resolution by suspending all electoral processes and renewal of structures in his July 4th, 2023 letter to the Electoral Commission. The standoff over elections was discussed at last week's Kayotak National Council sitting and no decision was taken. The National Council meeting, the worst ever organized by the FDC amidst violent scenes, was inconclusive on this matter. The Kifes, ferried by Mr. Nanda and Mr. Amuriat, some from Eastern Uganda and others from Kampala, created a hostile environment for delegates to freely deliberate on all issues affecting the party. These Kifes descended on FDC members who had come to witness the council sitting, and many are still nursing wounds. Those that the Kifes were chasing would be selectively arrested by the Kifes police and driven away to Katwe police station. They were later summarily charged and remanded to Luzira. One of these victims, detainees, is in coma and is admitted at Maxon Bay prison in Luzira. This is the environment created by our colleagues, under which serious matters touching the real existence of the FDC were discussed or were supposed to be discussed. The chairman, Virigwa, made the matters even worse by casually stating that where these sort of illegal selections have taken place, they would stand, and where they did not, effort should be made to stage them. Mind you, the FDC, as we speak to you today, has no register. We don't know who the voters are. And Mr. Nandala, who is pushing vigorously for these elections, knows it and has recognized it himself. In his July 6 letter titled Registration and Updating Members' Registers, Nandala states, the registration of members is an exercise that has been ongoing since 2015 with blue books that were provided to the villages. Kindly update these registers urgently. Therefore, during this period of the structure roadmap, during this period when the selections that they call elections are going on, we are providing registration books and sheets to extract the village membership that will be used by the Electoral Commission to conduct structures in the respective districts. Each sub-region will be provided with a computer for the data entry. In this letter, Nandala confirms that the Toterebuka Bamwenda Commission has no register. He says it will somehow emerge when the ongoing fraudulent exercise is concluded. The names being selected, some on phones, will now be the register. In FDC, to qualify as a voter and a candidate, one must possess a valid party card obtained after payment of the subscription fees. After supplying party cards selectively only to his supporters, Nandala unilaterally stopped issuance of party cards. The intention was to lock out many party members from the electoral exercise. The public should also take note that this exercise has no electoral officials. Some fellows were picked by some district chairmen, others by Nandala himself, and trained as district electoral officials for one day. They were dispatched and instructed to go and train sub-county and parish electoral officials. This training never took place. Instead, Nandala started sending forms to district chairpersons, to district electoral officials, and asked them to begin an exercise. This election is supposed to start midway. So there are no village registers, no sub-county registers, and then you ask those who are conducting elections at district, you do anything you can. To this chaos, one of the 4 FDC regional electoral commissioners, Mr. Bone Otiama Ogogson, resigned, complaining that staff in Nandala's office had taken over the electoral exercise and were reversing decisions of electoral commission, partisan as it is. In fact, Toterebuka, who is supposed to be chairing this commission and presiding over these elections, was later to appear at a press conference on July 17th, at the party headquarters. With 2 Nandala and Amriat campaign agents. One of them, Centenary Robert, is a former MP Kasese municipality. There is also a vigilante from Nakawa called Moses Okwera. So the chairman of the Electoral Commission of FDC came to address a press conference flanked by Centenary and Okwera. They are now the ones running elections in FDC. Having given that background, we demand therefore as follows. The partisan Toterebuka Bamwenda Electoral Commission must be disbanded. A new, credible and impartial electoral commission should be instituted. The new electoral commission should propose a new electoral roadmap and present it to the National Executive Committee for approval. The new commission must present a budget to finance these elections, again to the National Executive Committee for approval. Nandala, Amriat, and any other party leaders or leader who intend to participate in this election as a candidate should step aside, and an interim leadership is constituted to steer the party up to the next delegates conference. Thank you very much.
Insisted on credible elections for government and therefore for ourselves. We have had elections in the past by our first electoral commission of Rubaramira, Ruranga. We also had of Dan Mugarura. And all those did us proud in providing a leadership that came through a process that was credible and that we had agreed on. Today, that is being reversed. And this is what brings us here. We have no other issue except having a process that is credible, that we have agreed on. This is what happens under FDC. One, an election day is gazetted, and the time is also gazetted. The place is also gazetted countrywide. The first branch, which is the village branch, in the past would start elections at 10 a.m. and end at midday, countrywide. And then the next level of the parish would happen from 3 to 4. All the villages would congregate and choose the leadership. Another day would be gazetted to sub-county and constituency level, and then finally to the district. This is not happening. It's a big shame to me, who has served under all these leaderships, to see what has become of the Electoral Commission under Tuterebuka Bamwenda, a big storyteller about the past and what went wrong in the past. Big storyteller. And so the elections that are acceptable and that meet the standard of FDC are the elections that I've described, of gazetting a day and a time and a place countrywide for this to happen. Even in the places where the selections have happened, that standard has not been met. And we all believe and know that they have been grossly interfered with. And therefore, it's not too much to ask from our colleagues an election that meets the standards of Forum for Democratic Change, an election that meets the standards of the national elections. Because we have accused every chairman of the Electoral Commission, Chigundu, Byabakama, of holding sham elections countrywide. But these ones within our party make Byabakama's elections look like star elections. And so we can't bequeath that to a party for which many people have lost lives, have lost opportunity. And it isn't even complicated. A new election would still elect leaders that were selected. They could be re-elected. And so for the good of our party, for the good of the people of Uganda, for the good of democracy, this is what is the bottom line for us. We are members of NEC. We have been at this through our meetings, and we have made resolutions. A party that does not respect its resolutions is not good enough for the people of Uganda. And also we are duty bound to abide by the expectations of the Political Parties and Organizations Act. And so we do believe, as members of NEC, that we should respect the resolution of NEC and go back to it and heal our party, grow our party, and use the party for the purpose for which we formed it. Thank you.
And I'm here this morning, first of all, to confirm that I'm part of this statement, which was presented by our chairman, Honorable Semuju. Two, I want to confirm the country and all members of FDC that no election has taken place in my region, Western Uganda. I've heard some people talking about that may be in some areas, in some districts, but I want to confirm that so far, no election, because as leaders of FDC, we are telling our colleagues that there is a problem. And you can see it. Actually, we are expecting our vice chairperson from the northern region to join us, and the deputy president. So, if everyone from the NEC, the National Executive Committee, one of the highest bodies regulating this party of FDC, is telling you that there is something wrong, why do you continue? So, members from my region, I call upon you to resist this election until we told you to do so. And on Monday, we are coming. I'm leading a team to Western Uganda to confirm to them. And I can tell you almost 99.9% from my region are willing to participate in this election. We are going to tell them after we have read this statement. And we don't expect them to follow what those people from Rajankumbi are telling them. I thank you.
I also want to point out what you may not have known, that one of the issues that Nandara and Po agreed with Mr. Museveni was to organize a sham election, so as portray the Byabakama election as free and fair. And that's why, as these were organizing a Shabe election, Byabakama was announcing a roadmap. It is not a coincidence. It is a plan. But two, make sure that during this sham election, some security personnel of Mr. Museveni are part of the leaders that will come up for purposes of making sure that during the delegates conference then organized, POA and Nandara become leaders who will definitely hand over the party to President Museveni. Finally, I want to assure Ugandans that FDC is not like any other parties that Museveni has taken over. It is deeply rooted. You just can't go to a district and say, I am going to organize the election if they don't want. So we shall do whatever is humanly possible to make sure that Museveni can only take over POA, Nandara, and their cohorts, and not the FDC party. I want to thank you very much.
Bunyoro Sub-Region, Hoima City. In my constituency, the Secretariat, with the guidance of the Secretary General, they appointed members right away from the grassroots, the village level up to the city level, without any of the FDC members, the executive members, which was elected by the FDC members, having participated. The officers from the headquarters came, just wrote, appointed people whom they are interested. Even me, in the ward I come from, I even don't know the people whom they fixed who come from my village. So one of the core principles that we stand for as FDC is transparency. Transparency, democracy for all, and allowing individuals, FDC members, to exercise their rights to vote. So in a situation where the Secretariat has appointed members to fill the structures of a city, of a district which I represent, I really reject and desist from such kind of appointed elections. And for the people of Hoima City and Bunyoro, we call upon you to reject such kind of political appointments. We are aware that any political exercise which does not take place where people have voted is not democratic. So nkuterera abantu baitu inywe nabakuluga Bunyoro nti itwe first of all amweneki member ndi omuntu omuhalo mwakomere kubakikirira akatebe ka nasono omuneki itwe nka Hoima City bakaja batukomera abantu babateka mu structures zabu. Even by the time the National Council was sitting, they already had the structure filled where we were not even aware. So nkubaterera abantu abakuja ne barabamu kubagambira bakoba structures abo bafere mubeganyire mubanuge ereza usibene bakubagama bumarule burora ite tukwende kitebe kyati kigende kulungo mu maiso cyari mu bufere bwona tukwenda akarura karume kererezi na mbere bulo mwara yemigira akarura nti tugenzerega kyaro nankatu wakoma tuagenda Paris na Kabunda sub county nankatu wakoma so akaruru ko bufere kabantu kujya nibahandika amabara mu majugabu mukanuge mukagaye kandi mutaketa buramu.
I'd like to ask members of the media who have been profiling us as a faction. We are not. There's wide spectrum of NEC members you see here. We constitute the National Executive Committee of the party, and we are duly recognized by the party constitution. I am the deputy president. You've seen the vice chairperson here. You've seen the vice honorable Kajinda, deputy PPO King, and all these secretaries. We would be seated at our party headquarters, but you know what is happening there. The party headquarters are under siege. They have been taken over by goons who have been there, and you yourselves, actually, you can't access those premises right now. What happened to you on that fateful day when some of your colleagues were mauled by those goons is something we shouldn't repeat here. You know what transpired there. So the reason we are seated here is because our party headquarters have been taken over by goons. Otherwise we would be there executing our business. And that brings me to the second issue. Whatever is happening right now, the elections we have denounced are not being conducted in accordance with the party constitution. Because under normal circumstances and within the parameters of the party constitution, it should be the National Executive Committee sanctioning those processes. You are told, and I'd like to re-echo the same, we took a decision suspending those elections, pending resolution of the conflicts. And we are yet to do that. The team you see here, we are supposed to assemble in a particular place at a retreat to resolve these conflicts. That was a resolution which is documented, which is recorded in our minutes. To date, the 2-3 individuals who have hijacked management of the party are not allowing those processes to take place. And it's the reason we have made it categorically clear that unless and until we go into a retreat, come up with a proper roadmap, those elections are not going to proceed. We are not only stopping them by mere proclamations, but we are going to do everything possible to stop the exercise going ahead until it's in our charge. This party does not belong to the 2-3 individuals who are treating it as a briefcase party. The FDC is one party which has gotten its structures, robust structures, rolled out countrywide. It has never been a briefcase party. But right now, to see only 2 individuals calling shots, running roughshods, the Honorable Nandala and the Poa, it's an absurdity, totally unacceptable. And I may be surprised if any of you treated this as a statement from a faction. Actually, if anything, it's Nandala and Poa who are running a faction. The executive is here, and we are ready to execute business. This is our mandate under the party constitution. Right now, it's an unfortunate situation that NEC cannot sit, and we cannot allow this to happen. So we are going to make everything possible for NEC to sit, to take charge of the process. And we call upon the bona fide members of the party, please wait for the decision that is going to be taken by the party in its in its properly constituted organs and meetings. The statements casually issued by the Honorable Nandala as SG should be frowned upon, should be treated with the contempt they deserve. They shouldn't be at all accorded any respect or implemented because they are made without the authority of the party and the constitution as such. Lastly, the question of the budget, it's critical. The issue of the budget for these elections. Again, it's the mandate of the National Executive Committee. As we are seated here, we have had several engagements, several meetings convened at the party headquarters. And we have insisted, please, place on table the budget so that we consider it and approve it. Again, we are witnessing a reoccurrence of what happened in 2021. The crisis we have talked about, the dirty money we have talked about. At that time, there was supposed to be a campaign bureau. There was supposed to be a secretariat and also a team to run the finances and all the campaign arrangements. Unfortunately, again, all those were disbanded. The bureau was disbanded and none put in place to manage the funds. So it's the same situation. It's the wheel coming full circle right now. We are having a situation where the Honorable Nandala is the Alpha and Omega. He is in charge of the team. Actually, for all intents and purposes, the Toterebuika Bamwenda Commission is not in charge. It is Nandala actually who is in charge of the elections. And this is totally unacceptable. Totally unacceptable. And it's the reason we have said, look, as I conclude, you can't be the person in charge of elections. You can't be the person who knows the funds, the source of the funds, how the funds are disbursed, how you move around running your own budget in an organization like the FDC, which has got a party constitution and which operates within the broader framework of the national legislation, the Political Parties and Organizations Act, as well as the national constitution. So we have to respect that constitutional order, not only of the party, but also the broader national constitutional order must be respected. And it's the reason we are saying, please, let's get back the party into its structures so that we operate as NEC and take decisions collectively and have them enforced or implemented. And secondly, again, the candidates to step aside. It's the rule of natural justice. You can't be a judge in your own cause. You can't be like a Museveni. Museveni behaves as the Biabakama, the chairman of the Electoral Commission, when actually is the candidate. We can't allow that to happen under our nose in the party. We are fighting that vice at a national level. It cannot happen in our party. So that's why we are denouncing all exercises being conducted by a one-man rule. The one-man rule we are challenging at a national level. It's a one-man rule we are having in the party and totally unacceptable. So we reiterate our earlier demands in the statement read by our spokesperson, and we stand by that collectively, and we are going to defend that particular position. And I call upon all of you to marshal up the capacities, all members, wherever you are. This is a clarion call. In my language, tugamba lunoro yalwa munyindo. Take the bull by the horn. I thank you.
I love FDC, but I love and cherish democracy more. I love and cherish transparency more. And I am here to put Nandala and Power on notice that I, Nyanjura Doreen, I am not simply going to watch as FDC is taken over by Museveni through Nandala and Power. That I am going to fight. And I am going to do everything possible, use all means necessary, and I am going to work. I am going to rally members of FDC to come out and defend their party. And I think it seems Nandala has forgotten the FDC members. The FDC members that I know cannot be paid to support someone who has been deployed by Museveni. The FDC members that I know cannot be beaten and silenced and on gunpoint start supporting Nandala and Power. The The FDC members that I know are not going to give up on democracy. The FDC members that I know are not going to give up on fighting for Forum for Democratic Change. Ladies and gentlemen, I am here to inform you that members of FDC are not going to give up. We are going to fight. We are going to use all means necessary to make sure that the dictators that are currently at Najjanankumbi exit. Thank you.
Fellow citizens, I'm Atkins Katusabe. I come from the great Rwenzururu Kingdom and the great Rwenzori region, but I'm proud to be a Ugandan, and I'm proud to be an FDC. You know, elections, or an election is not a destination, it's a journey. An election is not a product, it's a process. It is the journey that determines the destination, not the reverse. It is the process that determines the product and not the reverse. My fellow citizens, we have more work to do. And the work at heart is to save our sons and daughters, and that is the FDC. And the work that we have to do, and that is non-negotiable. We're not going to compromise on that, and to save our country. And I want everybody to know that we are ready to put in our all, and we're not ready to allow anybody to mess around with the FDC. We are looking for a way to save our country from destination destruction. Our fellow citizens are crying out and crying out for leadership. And the only party available in this country is the FDC to provide our leadership. We are not looking for an Imori Mori, the king of Tesla. We're looking for national leaders. We are not looking for Omukuka. We're looking for national leaders. And so far as I have my estimation, I'm looking at where those so-called sham elections have taken place. They are in sub-regions. Wait a minute, we're not looking for, regional kings or chiefs. Sorry, we're looking for national leaders because our country is crying out and crying out for national leadership. Ladies and gentlemen, there are a lot of people that should have been here. And do you know where they are? They're lying in their graves and they're watching out. And all of us here on this table are here to answer one question. What did you do? When FDC was at the border of being mortgaged or handed over to somebody or to some system, what did you do? When the country was at the edge of destruction, what did you do? We're here this morning to answer that question. And did you forget? In our address at Zambia, we said we're ready. And we're ready to fight. We're ready to roll up our sleeves and fight. We're ready to put our foot down and fight. We're ready to kick off our shoes and fight. We're ready to cut our nails off and fight. If there is anybody here that maybe eats chapati or anything, we are ready to get the chapati out and fight. Fight for our sons and daughters, fight for our families, fight for our future, and fight for our country. And in conclusion, if you see the north or the northern part of our country represented, you see the western country or western part of our country represented here, in the eastern and the western and the southern. Where else?
That's it. Western.
So what else are you looking for? Central. What else are you looking for? So the entire Uganda is here, crying out for leadership. And we're here to provide the leadership. So forget it. If somebody is saying this is the end of the FDC, as a matter of fact, this is the start of a march to State House. Forget it. If somebody said FDC is going to split, no, we are there to provide the glue that will hold us together, to provide the leadership that this country needs. Thank you so much, and may God bless everybody. May God bless Uganda.
As you know, I'm an opinion leader and a good representative of the people of Kabale and Kigezi. Therefore, I was very surprised to hear that there are elections taking place or having taken place without me knowing about them at all. Then there has been a question. Of course, I've got many phone calls, and some are saying, now what are you going to do? And some people have suggested that we even split and fight a war. I come to assure my people I represent that there is not going to be any split. We are going to fight until these people. We are going to fight within FDC and save FDC. There is no one going to take over because these are just a few of the NEC members. We could have been many. But, of course, because some of them are up country, some of them cannot be organized quickly, but I assure people that we are the majority. The majority who want a party to be democratic, the majority who want the elections to be conducted in a free and fair manner, the majority who want our party back. So let people not call us a faction. We are members of FDC. We are members of NEC. We are members of Parliament. We represent the people and represent FDC. Statement has been read, and I want to call upon all people who represent, especially in the Kabale region, not to take part in the sham elections. In the subsequent days, as you see here, as you see us here, we shall be moving region per region, informing the people about the elections that are supposed to take place in the right way. Therefore, wait for us. For now, don't take part in any elections. Wait for us. Wait for our word, because we are members of NEC. We are members of the party. Wait for us. We shall give you the direction. I want to thank you so much.
So Ken Pipi Ojara. I'm a member of Parliament representing the people of Chua West in Kipdum District. This is my second term in Parliament. So you should know I'm still around. I will be around. But most importantly, I will talk here as a Deputy President of FDC Northern Uganda. So when I say Northern Uganda, It encompasses West Nile sub-region, Acholi sub-region, Lounge sub-region, and Karamoja sub-region. So all are represented here today in this press. And when I talk, I will talk on their behalf, and I will talk what is on the ground. I will talk what their aspiration is. Members of the press, I want to start by saying that in any kind of institution that we have, if we ignore laws and regulations that govern that institution, we are bound to fail. And indeed, what we're witnessing in FDC is actually lack of our ability to go by the rule, the regulations, the laws, the constitution that we all set to guide the processes in FDC. If a body like NEC resolve that we need to stay elections based on the fact that there are still a lot of issues that are supposed to be resolved before going for election. But no matter what, somebody goes and starts conducting some elections. That is a total abrogation of the laws of the Constitution that guides and governs us as FDC. And present here, we want to start by condemning that act. If FDC stands for democracy, if FDC stands for the rule of law, if FDC stands for the aspirations of the Ugandans, then who are we, who are you, to go against the law that we have set and the constitution that we have set? In fact, for lack of better words, I would say the constitution of FDC has been abrogated. Because if you don't follow the constitution, then what is the purpose of this constitution? What is the purpose of this law? Like-minded comrades who are here, the NEC members, the members of parliament who are present here, we are saying no. We shall not be part and process of the people who want to bring mayhem, who want to abrogate the constitution, who do not want to follow the law that governs us. And that's why today we are here trying to make sure we push this to the Ugandans to understand. On behalf of the people of northern Uganda, I want to state categorically, very, very clearly, that we have never ever had any elections. No election has taken place, and no election is going to take place unless we pronounce ourselves and sort out the internal mess that now has befelt FDC. We shall go from sub-region to sub-region in northern Uganda to spread this gospel, to talk about this, to expose those who would want to hand over FDC to NRM. And we shall not allow this to happen. To hand it over to NRM, to hand it over to Museveni. We shall not allow that one to happen. Historically, we all know that for the last 35 years, the NRM has been into power. The region that has suffered most is northern Uganda. Historically, we also know that strongly from the word go, the people of northern Uganda had actually known and said no to the current regime. And we shall still continue to say no to whoever is abusing, to whoever is malicing our people. We shall not accept. So as members of the FDC, I would like to join our colleagues who are present here, that we are going to stand with all the region in Uganda, northern Uganda, central Uganda, western Uganda, and eastern Uganda, to make sure we revive FDC and make sure we revamp the processes in FDC so that FDC signs again and takes over power from the NRM. I thank you very much. Asante sana. May God bless all of you. Thank you. Thank you.
Abannaffe abalala abatasobodde kubeerawo wano, twagala okwesamba Nandala ne Amuriat kye bayita okulonda nti waliwo okulonda kwefudisa okugenda maaso mu Uganda. Teriyo kulonda, era tumanyi bulungi beesibira mu biyumba ewalala bakuba simu ne bawandiika abantu bo be bayitamba bakulembeze beefudisa abalondeddwa. Nga bwe muwulidde okuva mu bakulembeze beefudisi okuva mu bitundu byonna, tetunnabaayo na kulonda kubanga akakiiko ak'okuntiko ak'FDC akayitibwa National Executive Committee bwe kaatuulanga ennaku z'omwezi 16 kaayimiriza okulonda okutuusa nga ensonga ezitawaanya FDC omuli ne ssente Nandala ne Amuriat ze baaleeta billions ne bazireeta mu kibiina wakati mu kulonda kwa 2022-2021. National Executive Committee yayimiriza okulonda era chairman w'ekibiina Ambassador Wasabirigwa naye ne yeegatta ku National Executive Committee era kwalinga member ng'awandiika ebbaluwa ennaku z'omwezi nga 4 July ng'agamba mwami Toterebuka bamwenda. Omwami oyo yali mu CA era amanyi nnyo ebyafaayo ebyaleetera Uganda obuzibu naye ebyembi teyayiga. Birigwa nga mugamba nti okuyimirira kwonna okulonda kwonna kuyimiridde mpaka nga tumaze okutereeza ebitawaanya ekibiina ssaawa zino. Mu lukiiko olwatuula olwa National Council sabbiiti ewedde ensonga y'ebyokulonda yaleetebwa naye tewaliwo kyasalibwawo. Embeera yali mu National Council mwenna mugimanyi. Nandala yagenda ewaabwe n'Amuriat ne baleetayo bakifeesi era tebalina kantu ke baleese najja nankumbi emizindalo bagibbye obujiiko buli kye basobola okuteekako emikono baleese bakibbye najja nankumbi nga mulaba babba essimu z'abamawulire. Abo Nandala ne Amuriat baleese ku headquarter nti bazze kuwa security ne bakuba bamemba b'FDC abaali bazze okuwulira abakulembeze baabwe nga bateesa ensonga enkulu ezikwata ku kibiina ate nga waaliwo ekkobaane wakati wa Nandala ne poliisi kubanga bakifeesi bwe baagobanga omuntu nga bamujja munda bamutwala poliisi ng'emubaka ng'emutwala mu kaduukulu. Abamu ku abo be baatwala Luzira waliyo omuvubuka baamukuba ali na mukoma ali Makusoni Bbe gye bamujanjabira, tumusabira Katonda amusaasira awone. Abalala bajjudde biwundu. Bakifeesi nga bali ku njaga n'omwenge abaali munda baabawogganiranga n'okuteesa kwennyini tekusoboka. Kati mu mbeera eyo chairman w'ekibiina Wasabirigwa we yagambira nti eyo gye bagenze balondalonda abantu okulonda okwo kale tukkirize nti kwabaddewo gye batandaba kulonda naye bagende balonderonde. Bw'atyo chairman w'ekibiina bwe yagamba. Twagala okutegeeza eggwanga nti FDC ng'egenda mu kulonda ng'abantu abalala bonna ekitandikirwako eteeka okubeera n'olukalala lw'abalonzi. Golaa ne Museveni mubbi w'akalulu lwabeera nalwo. Nandala yawandiika ebbaluwa ennaku z'omwezi nga 6 July ng'akakasa nti wali olukalala lw'abalonzi. Naye omwami oyo agamba nti yakolanga mu World Bank. N'agamba nti ate mufaayo okulonda bwe kunaatandika nga bwe tukola n'olukalala. Bwe lunaaba luwedde nga tuluwa chairman w'Electoral Commission ng'ateekateeka okulonda mu bitundu eby'eggwanga. Era n'agamba mu bbaluwa ye njagibawaako kopi. Tugenda kubasindikira ebitabo mutandike okukola enkalala nga bwe mulonda. Kati kye bali mu kukola ssaawa zino. Ebbaluwa ya Nandala nga ennaku z'omwezi 6 Ogw'omusanvu. Era temufaayo tugenda baweereza ne kompyuta bye mulondalonda nga muteekamu amannya ago nga tugamba kati ye register ye FDC in writing. Mu FDC okulonda n'okwetaba mu kulonda ng'oyagala kwesimbawo oteeka okubeera ng'olina kaadi y'ekibiina ng'omaze okusasula ssente eza buli mwaka. Nandala kaadi yaziremera yazitwalanga mu bubba n'awaako balowooza nti bamuwagira. Kaakati nga bammemba tobakkiriza kubawandiika tolina register tebalina kaadi n'oga nti aka tugende tulonde. Emabegako awo waaliwo okusomesa abanaakulira ebyokulonda bya FDC ku buli district. Ne babagamba nti mube tusomeseza mugende musomesa abo ku magombolola ne ku miruka. Baba tebannatuuka ne bagamba nti enkalala ziizo mutandika okulonda. Abo ku miruka omulimu gwabwe gwali gwa kuwandiika abantu ku buli kyalo tebabawandiika. Kyenva mulaba okulonda okumu kuno kwe bakola kuno okw'essimu. Batandikira ku constituency kubanga wali ba delegate abagenda mu delegates conference ngaga muri bameka omweronde bwe mubulanga muteekako bwe mutaddeko baawa mu mulaba muwulidde MP okuva ebunyolo nga ababuulira. Kati ebyo byonna nga bigenda mu maaso omu ku bakulira ebyokulonda mu FDC Mwami Bone Otiama Ogogson n'alekulira n'agamba bino ebigenda mu maaso sikyabisobola. Naye yakulira ebyokulonda mu FDC mu Northern Uganda. Abalenzi ba Nandala ebyokulonda kati bye babitambuza ffe aba Electoral Commission tetukyalina makulu. Naye ebbaluwa yenjina wano njagibawo. Era tewayita kiseera toterebuka n'akakasa nti ono alekulidde ebyayogera bituufu. N'alabibwako ku press conference ng'ali n'abavubuka ba Nandala okwali Robert Centenary yali MP Kasese eyo. Olwo n'ekivubuka ekirala kiva Nakawe bakiyita okwera. Kati nga gwe chairman w'ebyokulonda ozze kwogera ku byakulonda ku mukono gwo gwa kkono olinayo ekivubuka kya Nandala kimu n'omukono omulala n'ogera ebyokulonda twakabimala mu ggwanga 93%. Ku lw'okulumirwa ekibiina twagala okusooka nga FDC tenagenda kuddamu kuteekateeka kulonda akakiiko ka toterebuka bamwenda kano kalina okugibwawo tuteekewo akakiiko akatali mu kyekubiira ate nga n'emirimu kagisobola. Ekyokubiri tuteeka okufulumya kalenda empya egy'okubeerayo n'okulonda nga kutandikira ku byalo nga buli lunaku okulonda bwe kubeera. Era akakiiko akapya ke tunaateekawo ke kateeko tuweetera ne budget y'ebyokulonda. Saawa zino terina amanyi ssente ze bateekamu zivuddewa meka. N'ekisembayo Nandala Amuriat na buli yenna ng'ali mu bukulembeze bwa FDC obw'oku ntikko ng'oyagala kwesimbawo ne bw'oba totegeera kimala kikulaga nti oteekwa okuwummula n'otategeka kulonda ng'ate weesimbyewo n'oba ng'ofaanana ne Museveni. Mu byafaayo bya FDC buli wabadde wabeerayo okulonda nga bakulembeze ab'oku ntikko ofiisi bazivaamu abalala ne batambuza okulonda n'oteesimbawo gwe weesimbyewo gw'otegeka okulonda gwe ki. Mwebale nnyo mwebalire ddala.